Hey, good afternoon everybody. The day after the day before. Wow, what a day, what a result, what a performance. So I was up at the game yesterday, and if I'm being honest, so first of all let me just say I may ramble slightly, obviously unscripted, so I'm just going to give my views. If you want to see my instant match views, you can head over to a new YouTube channel called Upside Sports, who invited myself and X-Max Duo on to give our thoughts. So if you want to know how I felt straight after the game, have a look at that. Upside Sports, that's the one you need to look for. So anyway, I've had a bit of an opportunity to think about the game and to kind of reflect on how it all went and so on. So first off, got to say, really wasn't expecting that result. Really wasn't expecting it. I did honestly feel that we were going to get done about 3-1. And I never like to call out that we're going to lose. But knowing that the team had been recovering from COVID and that there potentially would be some players out of the first team and so on, I felt that, going up against Liverpool, who have been flying and are a decent team, you've got to be fair to them. Whereas before we were on par with them, they are, miles ahead of us currently. So I was dreading it, and I think a lot of the guys from South Dorset Spurs probably felt the same. We had planned to take 2 minibuses up, but a lot of people dropped out with the COVID scare and all the rest of it. So. And I do think a lot of it was probably to do with the fact that they thought we'd probably get done. Anyway, so I was expecting a 3-1 loss. I looked at the team and I thought Dele, Ndombele and Winks in the centre of the park is not the answer that I was looking for to instill any level of confidence that we were going to do okay. So that was a bit of a worry. But I have to say, what a great performance that was, albeit ending in a draw. I get that, and I don't want to oversell it because it feels a bit like really, celebrating a draw like you've won the league. I don't mean it like that, but what I mean is the journey that the players have been on and how much they've improved in such a short space of time was unreal. Now, whether it's because they're lifting their game because they're playing someone like Liverpool, who, as I've just said, are a great team, whether they're playing for their futures, like Dele, maybe he's had the message, listen, if you don't improve, if you don't get yourself back to where you need to be and concentrate on your football, then you're likely to be going to, someone who's down in the relegation zone, or potentially finding yourself playing in Turkey or somewhere, So you really need to step it up. Now, whether he's reacting to that or whether he's reacting to the training that he's been given by Conte, I don't know. Only he knows that. But he put in one of his best performances for a number of years. It's a shame, really, that he couldn't get the goal that that his performance was for the most part deserving. Great save by Alisson to deny him, because had that gone in, we could have been out of sight in that game early doors, and that may well have been a different game. Same for Winks, who really stepped up yesterday, who played particularly well. His forward passing was good, his endeavour was good. So it was great. Again, great to see him. Sessegnon was another one who I thought had a particularly good game. Salah was totally off the boil. Now, whether that's anything to do with Sessegnon, you don't know, or whether it was just, maybe Salah, struggling coming back from COVID. If rumours are true that he was one of those affected. So, overall, I thought that there were some really good performances by a lot of players who have been underperforming. Sanchez was another one who I thought, there were several tackles and last-ditch tackles that he did that were that were really good, really well timed and all the rest of it. Dyer, again, looked solid. Didn't look like he was going to make any of those silly mistakes that he normally does. And he was looking at the angles, to ping one over to Sessegnon or to Royal the other side or whatever. He was looking for those, Alderweireld type passes to kind of, spring us into action and so on. For me, I guess the ones who I was disappointed with, I have to call out on Ndombele again, who, despite playing forward the deciding pass for Kane's goal, I felt overall he was still poor. There's so much more you need from him as the creative force in that midfield. He just wasn't on it. He still doesn't feel right to me, and I think he's got to be one who's looking at an exit very soon, if not in January. Definitely in the summer, because I just cannot see him. I cannot see him improving, because he's been through 3 managers now, and he's not turned up for any of them. So for me, it's a big problem. The fact that he's still doing what he's doing and not sort of moving any further forward. And I've said it before. I said it when I was talking to on Chris Callin's live stream once, not so long ago, that I think he's done. I think he's done and dusted, and not really gonna do it for us. So just try to get out of here. So disappointed with him. The other one I was a little bit disappointed with, but who I've not been disappointed with previously, I think he's growing and growing and growing, was Emerson Royal, who I felt had a bit of a tough game. He got turned a few times, outrun a few times, and it was only Sanchez getting him out of trouble that really helped him. Going forward, he seemed like he had the ability to get forward, but I still want to see that final ball. I still want to see those crosses going in. So a bit disappointed with him, but ultimately these guys were part of a team that did particularly well against one of the front runners for the title, right? Massive positive, Harry Kane's goal. Great to see him back on the score sheet. Son as well, seeing him on the score sheet, both of them on it together, grinding out a win after going 2-1 down. Showed character, showed desire, showed effort, and that's what we were looking for. And the atmosphere yesterday was banging. I have to tell you, it was really, really good. The fans were really up for this game, and inspired by the effort that was coming. When the players are not putting in the effort, the fans aren't inspired to cheer or to sing or anything like that. But even when we went 2-1 down, the fans were right up for it. Come on, get your heads back into it, really encouraging. And I think the team can feel that. I think they'd forgotten about how good an atmosphere it could be and how much fans can make a difference, as your 12th man sort of thing, But there are a couple of controversial points I think you got to cover off. Harry Kane, should he have been sent off? Now, in my interview with Upside Sport, I did say, as a fan, you love to see that. You love that. Sliding in, getting the ball, bit of aggression, that kind of stuff. You love it. You love to see it. But in the modern game, it's just a no-no, isn't it? It's just one of those things it's never gonna be allowed these days. So to have got away with a yellow card, yeah, I think he was lucky. I think he was lucky. Robertson, I absolute bang on red card, deserved to be sent off. He swiped him, took the player's legs away. He could have no complaints about it, apart from the fact that he was inconsistent from the referee in the fact that Kane didn't get sent off himself. But sometimes them things go for you, right? It happens all the time. You see it, and if Liverpool fans would actually, look at it constructively and with an open mind, they'll agree as well, in the same way that I agree. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. We've had shit decisions go against us. We've had good decisions go our way. Yesterday there was a good decision for us. because arguably it could have gone the other way. I don't see the point in getting all salty and upset about it and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is, you know. Like I say, sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, and I think, you know, we rode our luck. We got what we wanted out of it, you know. Penalty, Jota. I you know, I'm gonna do a Wenger and say I didn't see it, because I didn't, you know. It was at the other end of the ground. I didn't really see what happened, but you know, a lot of people called it out. Yeah, definite penalty. Dele Alli's wasn't a penalty, apparently. Again, didn't really see it from my angle. It looked like he was pushed over, but you know, so it is what it is from that perspective. Winks, looking at that one again, looked like a penalty. Didn't get it, you know. So I think there was a lot of talking points across the board, but the difficulty is referees have such a difficult game, because players these days, and I'm not just talking, I'm talking in general, any team, they fall over at anything. They only have to be touched and they're rolling around the floor like they've been shot. You know, I mean, it's farcical sometimes, it's comical sometimes, and as fans you look at it and you think, what a mug, what are you doing? You know, you're embarrassing yourself. But all teams do it. All teams do it, you know. But I mean, even in the ground yesterday, every time Salah was anywhere near the penalty area, the fans were screaming, don't touch him, because he has such a reputation for that sort of thing. And it is a shame that Sky Sports don't do to him or to some of the other culprits the same as they did to Harry Kane, calling him out, you know, putting him in front of a screen and saying, oh, you know, did you dive here? You know, it's just so blatantly biased towards some of these teams. You know, your alleged top 4, top 6, whatever it is, that those guys do get the rub of the green. It happens, you know, referees are influenced. People like Klopp, you know, Klopp's not making points about yesterday's game because it's going to change yesterday's game. What he's doing is he's making points for the next game that he's in. The next time it's a little bit controversial. The next time it's a little bit on the edge, because people like Klopp, Mourinho was another one, Ferguson, obviously, Wenger. They all were in the ears of the referees. They all had a reputation and they all had the ability to influence from that perspective. So that's what he's doing. You know, I personally can't stand Jurgen Klopp. I think he's a great coach. You know, he's done wonders at Liverpool, and he deserves the accolades as a coach. As a person, I think he's a salty, bitter man, and I don't like him. I don't like that attitude. You know, I mean, he's absolutely classless in the way he kind of plays some of these comments about other teams, including Spurs yesterday. You know, you don't want to hear that as if it's some kind of shit football playing that we've done that didn't deserve to get what we got out of the game. And I just think that's classy. Sometimes you need to learn a little bit of empathy and a little bit of class. But that's just a personal opinion, right? I mean, nothing against, you know, Liverpool or from that perspective, or Klopp as a coach. It's more of as a person, you know. And he doesn't have to care what I think, you know. He doesn't have to care at all. In the same way I couldn't give a monkey's what he thinks about me. So, you know, but it's an opinion. It's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it in the same way that, you know, others are entitled to theirs. But, you know, overall, I really enjoyed it. It was great to have some passion in the team, and to have some passion in the crowd, and to feel like you'd really made a statement. Now, the problem now, of course, is expectations will rise, and it's about what do we do next? How do we move forward? We've got West Ham in the League Cup, so, you know, big important game for us to progress. So, you know, you're hoping for a similar passion and attitude going forward, because, you know, one game, Delhi doesn't make a swan song, you know, doesn't secure your future. You need to be doing that on a regular basis, in my view, to get anywhere near this squad. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. But from my point of view, I had a great day out. Left at 9 o'clock in the morning. Got home at gone 11 last night. Up at 5:30 this morning for work. But you know, it made the weekend, and it made it feel like worthwhile. And you know, you do live off of your club's results. The final thing I wanted to say about it, football initially is, we've just obviously found out that we've been kicked out of the Europa Conference League, get it right, Lee, with a 3-0 loss. Not a shock, to be honest. Like I said, I didn't feel that we deserved to go through in any kind of way, unless it was through winning, you know, the game itself, you know, and deserving to go through. Our problem was we lost too many games to two poor teams. We didn't take it seriously enough, and we're out as a result of it. You know, had we taken it seriously in the first place, we would have been in that position. And had we not been in that position, we could have quite easily have already progressed. So only ourselves to blame. You know, ultimately knocked out by COVID rather than the team. But the reality is, we just didn't do well enough in it, and we don't deserve to go through. So I'm not going to be bitter and twisted about it, or upset about it. I don't subscribe to people's views that it's a good thing, it's a godsend to go out of it so we can concentrate on our league position and blah blah blah, because ultimately our league position is just determined by the fact that we might come fourth. To go into a competition that we've historically not done that well in. We got to a final, bottled it in one final, and that's it. So, you know, do we want to become another Arsenal who are in the competition for 20 years and never really competed in it? If you want to be in it, you got to want to win it. You know, I just can't stand this idea that just because you're in the Champions League, you get all the best players and all the rest of it. We were in the Champions League. We didn't get the best players. So what are you talking about? So, you know, I think it's a bad thing that we didn't take it seriously in the first place. We should have done. We should have progressed. We should have tried to win it. It's a trophy. It's not the Audi Cup, like some people are calling out. It's a proper, legitimate trophy. Had we won it, it would have been a great day to see us win it. In the same way, it would be a great day to see us win the League Cup, the FA Cup, Europa League, Champions League, whichever it is. You want to win trophies, you know. So if you're in a competition, you take it seriously, you try to win. That's my view of it. And you can kind of go, oh, it's a godsend, means we can really go for top four now. We should have been going for top four regardless. You know, regardless. The only thing it does help is our stack of postponed games and all the rest of it. Fixture congestion does help us from that point of view, and from that, yes, I'm thankful. I think it does give us an opportunity to, you know, not slog our players out too much and give us a chance to try and win some games, get ourselves in a better position going into January, and you know, if it does give us the opportunity to go to a Saturday kick-off, that would be great as well, because, you know, Sundays having to get home at that time of night to try to get up early in the morning is a bit of a struggle for a lot of us. So, you know, but as much as my day was a long day yesterday, you have to feel for my friend Lappers, who's watches this channel. So I'm going to give him a shout out, because I was going to try and meet up with him yesterday, but I couldn't because we just didn't get time together. But travelling all the way up from Plymouth, train's cancelled, got his wife to drive him to Exeter. They got the train to Exeter, the tickets never come through properly, so I had to go into the ticket office to try to get all that resolved. He missed Harry Kane's goal, and then on the way back there was accidents on the motorway. He got home at 5:30 in the morning when I was getting up to go to work. So Lappers, you know, feel for your mate. At least you got to sample the atmosphere and get a good a good feel for it all in the end. So sorry I couldn't meet up with you, buddy. Maybe next time, and hopefully it'll be for a win. So sorry for the long asked video today. I know it's rambling. I apologise for that. Maybe you'll have to watch it over a couple of toilet trips rather than just the one toilet trip, unless of course you spend a lot of time on the toilet in one go. Ian Kent does that quite a lot. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave you with one more thing. Up the Spurs.